So, guys, hello, and welcome to Artist Advice.
Hello.
Hello. So, the way this panel is going to work really quick, we're going to introduce ourselves one at a time, and then going back, we're going to talk about how we got involved in artwork and why we stuck around, and we're going to encourage you guys to pursue art, and then talk about tips and tricks on how you can continue your own art journey and improve your own art. But before we do so, I'm going to pause the music. I do just want to take a quick, brief moment. So you might have heard this at some point throughout the con weekend if you went to either Taylor's, Bobby's, or Red Cards panels. A good friend of ours, Iron Captain, unfortunately passed away. They have been dealing with a lot of health issues ever since, I believe it was Babs of last year. They've been in and out of the hospital. It's been really upsetting to hear, and unfortunately, during Milo Millionaire yesterday, they passed away. She was a very good friend. Loved talking about Disney World with her. I love Disney World, but she loved it more. And like, I'm hoping that we keep her memory alive through just keep talking about her. We just want to make sure that she is always remembered. She was a very good friend, and she's going to be dearly missed. So, I just want to take a quick, brief moment to take a moment of silence for her. So, and if you're wearing a hat, maybe just take it off for just a few moments and just say a small prayer or just think about her for just 1 second. Thank you. All right, so we're going to have an artwork cycle through the panel that we all did, and I should set that to be auto play, and it's going to be for 15 seconds for each slide. Okay, so we're going to introduce ourselves. So, hello everybody, my name is Nicky D. Sure, I'm an artist, but I'm also a singer, rapper, songwriter, and voice actor, but again, we're going to focus on art, and Nevy, you're next.
Hi, I'm Nevalin. I run off of energy drinks at all times. I'm sorry if I'm stuttery today. I had to. I am the artist behind the first few years of HarmonyCon. I was their lead designer there, and I run a lot of panels and stuff.
I'm Shiiiny, or That Shiiiny, depending on what platform you're on. I mostly do digital art. I'm very interested in just drawing characters in funny situations, like in comics or in just any situation that I think would be appropriate for them. I'm trying to get more involved in like comic making as well in the future.
Hi, I'm Gobi.
Hi,
Hey! I am an artist for a couple of conventions. I think listing them off would be a pain because I think I just do art for everyone that asks me. Please, if you run a convention, do not listen to what I just said. I do not need to take on more work. And I'm often down in the vendor hall. I really like product design, so if you're ever looking for any advice on that, come by, chat with me. It's one of my favorite things. Otherwise, I do a lot of digital. I do a lot of traditional. Kind of all over the place. I can't settle on one thing. I need a diagnosis.
I am MintyRoot. I'm a fan animator.
Hi, Minty.
Hi, Minty. And also a computer graphics generalist and animation studios. So, and I describe my job to a lot of people as I make sure that the characters don't explode unless it's on purpose.
All right, so now we're going to just briefly go over like how we got into arts and why we stick around with it. So, I've always been a creative kid growing up, but what really solidified art for me was, I believe I was in 5th grade, I want to say. We were going to have an indoor recess day, and I just figured I'm going to draw something, and I brought in this game booklet of Sonic Heroes. That was my very first Sonic the Hedgehog game. I'm an avid Sonic fan. And I'm just going to draw the characters from there. So I did the speed character first, so SBO, Shadow, Amy, and Sonic. And I was just drawing away, and one of my classmates, she walked by and she sees me drawing. I believe I was in the middle of drawing Sonic. And she's like, Nick, you're drawing that? And I'm like, yeah, that's my drawing. She's like, that's really good. You should keep doing this. And that's kind of what solidified it for me. It also kind of helped that I kind of had a crush on her at the time. But yeah, like ever since then, I just kind of was like drawing whatever was in front of me. I just, oh, by the way, we're going to have a small K-pop Demon Hunters block here.
Yo.
But yeah, that's kind of what solidified it for me. And I just kept drawing whatever I wanted to. Like my sister's stuffed Pikachu I drew. We had this fake jack-o'-lantern that I drew. Like I would always be asking my parents more paper, more sketchbooks, more pencils, more everything. And I just haven't looked back since. And that's really the long short of it. So Nevy?
So I know a lot of you weren't alive back then, but back about 50 years ago, there was this place called Tumblr.
Oh God, here we go.
And I got really into artwork because I got into the Ask blog side of Tumblr. That was a big deal in 2012, 2013. And I just thought it was like so cool that people are out here just making horses and designing original characters.
True.
So I started drawing just to get my character designs out there, and that's like my favorite part of art still. Yeah, that's about it.
So I've been into art for as long as I can remember, pretty much. Ever since I was a very young kid, I've been drawing and tracing pictures of Pokemon out of magazines or whatever guide strategy book I had. I was very interested in Pokemon. I also ended up on Tumblr at a very young age, and I was, I'm 24 right now, which means I was 10 when the show premiered. I was the target audience of it, so I very much grew up, like, very heavily influenced by the art of the fandom and what I saw coming out in like 2012, 2013. And I want to try and just keep doing that. Like I want to keep doing what I saw back when I was a kid and make sure that doesn't stop happening until there just aren't any bronies left, I guess. I think that's a good way to handle it.
All right.
Sorry, y'all. I'm just gonna take a break for realizing that I am old.
You look great.
No, I can't remember a time where I have never not been drawing. I've always had a pen in my hands, and it was mostly because, can you believe it? I used to be shy. Something happened. I don't know what happened. And so I would spend my days just sitting at home and coming up with all of these worlds and stories. I used to play with my toys a lot. I had a lot of like the old kind of horrible looking Littlest Pet Shop now that you see what they've done now and how cute they are. Yeah, no, that's not what I had. Anyway, so I would come up with all these stories with them, and then I realized that I just really liked making stories, but I was never brave enough to actually write. Writing is something that still scares me to this day.
Should have gone to my writers panel this morning.
I know, right? So instead, I started to draw my characters. I wanted to make sure that I was also putting them out there. And one of the things that I would do is I would sit down with a blue ballpoint pen. I hate blue pens. I burn in passion, but you know what? It was available and they're cheap. So I had blue ballpoint pens and printer paper. And I would watch Eurovision and I'd draw all my characters reacting to the songs, which like, was such a fun way to engage with it. But it also meant that I was learning to do different poses, different types of characters, different expressions, all of these fun things. And I was learning to do it quick. And now if you want to see me draw, it's like, oh yeah, that's going to be at least 3 months for me to do anything. But you know, I'm always trying to find ways to improve. But I really, really got into art properly when I found a small little website. And if any of you know this website, I need you to hoot and holler. Chicken Smoothie?
Yes.
Do you know Chicken Smoothie?
I'm aware
yes,
of it.
okay.
I'm familiar with the virtual pet scene.
It had an Oikaki board, and so you could go on there and you could use their awful drawing program to draw. And I still have habits from those days. Those lines had no way to, you know how they smooth out at the end and go to a point? It didn't have that. I manually drew those. I would erase them to make that happen. But the thing that helped there was it was a small, tight-knit community of people. And so I'd post the most atrocious drawing ever, and everyone would be going, you've improved so much from your last one. And that really got me into the art world. And now I do this, I guess. Yeah.
So when I was 4 or 5, they sent me to a special school because of the autism. But one of the special things that happened was that they had a playtime, break time. Here, get some coloring books. And I remember picking a fight. I wanted to draw. Give me paper. Give me pencil. I wanted to draw. I wanted to draw cars for some reason at the time. And it took me a while to actually get back to the idea of drawing. And I knew one thing. I loved movies and I loved tinkering with stuff. And it dawned on me at some point when I looked at, computer-generated movies, flash animation, all the things you could do with it. I just realized, like, I could do that. I could tinker with computers to make it happen. I was not very good. I first started with Microsoft PowerPoint. I found out that you could actually set all your slides to 0 seconds, and it basically tried to play like a flip book. And I had the simplest shapes to try to tell a story. And then eventually my dad introduced me to Flash by mistake. He had the book that was about this thick. And I realized, like, oh, I can make animations like all those games I see online. I couldn't make my own. I have the power to do it. I had no talent to do it, so it took a while. But then when the show, when I discovered the show and I learned, oh, it's done in that thing called Flash you've heard about all those years ago. You still have the CD, right? And that's how I got really introduced to the idea, like, I could make my own animation with it. It doesn't need the best art skills because of the rigs, but it takes art skills to know how to pull it off.
Right.
And I learned so much since.
All right. Well, so I think from that point, we should try getting into tips and tricks. Well, before that, how about we get into, like, why it's important to stick with artwork. Creativity is, like, such a big part of my life because, as I mentioned earlier, I am a creative person in many different avenues. And I think when it comes to creativity, like, holding that stylus or that pencil, like, that is the gateway from your brain to bring it to something in real life. Like, you can see all these drawings that have been displayed on the up there, and, like, whatever silly or awesome or crazy idea that you have in your brain, as long as you keep practicing and keep staying consistent, you can bring whatever idea that you have that's up in here, up there. Like, just like learning how to stay consistent, I think is probably one of the first things I think any writer should, or not any writer, well, actually, anybody, any creative avenue for that matter. Consistency is key. Like, whether it be practicing or just wanting to, like, do like, if you're a voice actor, doing auditions daily, or, like, if you're drawing, like, sketching it, like, for 15 minutes a day. If you're a piano player, practice for 15 minutes a day.
Art is multimedia.
Exactly. But consistency is the key. You're not going to get better unless you dedicate some time each day, or at least something somewhat regularly, to improve. And, if you guys want to chime in, please feel free.
Oh no, I just realized I am feeling that right now.
I think we all are.
Convention mood.
I think just, like, having a creative outlet in general, I feel like is really important for everyone to have, even if you aren't, like, necessarily posting art online or, like, publishing music or, like, writing a novel. I feel like so many people, like, go to work, they come home, and then they just watch TV all day, and there's so much energy that you build up from doing that that's not going anywhere else, that you can channel that into so many different things. And I think it's a very healthy outlet instead of just, like, stewing on that all day.
You can always draw while you watch TV. That's what I do.
Yeah, creating is good for you. You should do it as much as you can, whatever you're interested in drawing or writing, animating, putting together, like, collages. I don't care. Just go make stuff. It will make you feel better about yourself.
It's
'cause
cathartic.
You always get better, and it builds up your confidence.
And remember that not everything has to be seen. So there's no pressure. You just take that pen to paper and you draw, you create, you do something. Because every single time you do that, you learn something new, even if it doesn't feel like it. And eventually you'll get to a point where you want everything to be seen. But it probably won't start out right away.
It's also worth noting, we've been doing art back in the days of cave painting. Just the idea that we thought that pointing a big stick at animals was worthy of putting it on a wall. People had the drive to not just do drawings, but do storytelling through the visual form. Drawing is not just about drawing cute characters and cute poses. It's also an element of storytelling. The way the way that you pose those characters, you tell a part of yourself in those, especially the ones with Pip and Nevy.
Yes, that shows a lot of me. Speaking about consistency, it helps if you get obsessed with a character and self-ship with her relentlessly.
Definitely.
What do you
Then
mean
you'll draw a
self-ship?
lot.
You still haven't made them kiss.
I have made them kiss.
You've made them
He
kiss.
has.
made
He
them
has.
kiss.
I saw it. I saw
Finally.
it. Oh, they had some.
Now kiss.
Oh, look, it corrected you.
The PowerPoint knows. The PowerPoint knows.
Whoa.
So I'm just going to throw this out there really quick. So when it comes to digital arts, I have no experience at all. Like pencil and paper is something I've always stuck to. Like what the heck is a layer? Like rendering? I never heard of her. Like seriously.
Have you ever seen Shrek?
It has layers. Yeah.
I have a fun anecdote about Shrek. Turns out they were running out of storage because the rendering capabilities that they had on Shrek were pretty limited. Turns out they had to render all their frames for the project using JPEG compression.
Oh no.
And then they had to send that to print that on film. So you saw a bunch of JPEGs projected on a large screen.
Fascinating.
I'm sorry for that tangent.
No, this is good. Like, I'm learning something here. So, what would you think would be the, as a panel, what do you guys think would be the first step for anybody other than consistency? Like, what would be the first step for somebody in their artistic journey, and like what should be their first step?
Draw something.
Yeah. So I see a lot of people go, I want to draw. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to sign up for this class or that class or all these other things. And they don't necessarily get the benefits from Benedicts
I can go for that
from
right about now.
any of the classes that they go to, because they end up going along and being too stressed to actually pay attention and get involved in what's going on. You don't need those. You don't need to do the fancy classes. I know for sure, Nevy, you just started. You just kept going. Just started.
Never
Did you
taken
just
a class
start
in
as
my
well?
life.
I've taken a few anatomy courses, but not like
there
a
you go. That's
structure.
gonna help out. Yeah.
So I do want to ask you about that, because I've never had that experience. I've only just recently, I've been drawing my entire life, started going to life drawing classes, and they've been helping. But I really do genuinely think that I'm only being helped by them because I already do draw. It's a lot of pressure to sit down in a place and draw a person for 30 seconds and then draw them in a different pose, and also they're nude. What is going on? Why am I here? It's actually really fun. It's really fun. It's super professional, super nice. But there are also websites out there. So if you feel like you do want to do a class and you're a little uncomfortable with those sorts of things, there is a website that will allow you to do life drawing online. It will automatically change the picture and the pose, so you can get that practice from the comfort of your own home. And if you want to, you can screenshot that and draw it for as long as you want. Don't fall to the pressure. It takes time.
Made me think of a point I want to make. So, references. How often do you guys use references?
Not as often as I should.
Nowhere near as often as I should.
Okay, so like every drawing, like if you see my drawings, I've had to scour the internet for references. And like even if there's something I'm like stumped on, like if like I would have to go to like a show and maybe like try to find a particular frame and just be like, okay, this is the pose I need, and just go from there. Like for me, I have yet to like freehand anything. Like everything has been reference, just like my sense of humor. But I don't think there's like no shame in using references though, right?
None at all.
They think it's cheating, but I'd like to remind people that erasing is also cheating. It's
I erase a
Yeah,
lot.
Control Z is cheating.
So
References and tracing, especially early on, if you're not passing it off as your own art, tracing can teach you lessons.
Sure,
It
absolutely.
is not
Yeah.
a bad thing to do. It's
Like-
only bad if you then go,
This is
I
mine,
made this
yeah.
without help from anything. That's when it's bad.
Yeah.
But I'm sure I speak for all of us when I say like I traced when I started.
I did a little bit, yeah.
Absolutely, I traced.
guilty as charged.
Yep. Yeah.
Tracing is also like an important skill to develop in itself, actually. Like if you want to do clean line art at any
Yes.
point, you're gonna have to be tracing your own lines.
Yeah.
You wanna know how to do that.
Sometimes it can even help out with proportions. Like I have struggled with proportions for a while, and I'm not saying like I've done tracing, but to help me. But like from what I've heard from other artists, like when they were starting and they were tracing, it helped them figure out, okay, an arm needs to be this long, or like the head it needs to be like this to the body or whatever.
It's also worth noting there's a lot of people who think that tracing is the ultimate sin in the fandom, but there's a worse sin: generative AI.
Yes, 100%.
When we say draw, we mean draw, to be clear.
Use a pencil. Just because you type something into an AI prompt doesn't mean you made it. It just regurgitated other people's artwork. Use a pencil, use a pen, use a stylus. Heck, if you have to use a stick and
Use
Stick in a
photography.
cave wall. Do
stick in
it.
a cave wall, going back to that, or find a knife and just indent it into the paper.
Cut some
preferable.
shapes out of construction paper and take a photo of it.
I think, did you just mention photography? Because I do have a little thing on that.
Let's talk about that for a second. Sure.
Yeah. So art is many forms. I get fed up sitting down at a canvas so often. Like, I love it. It's great. This is my life. It's fun. But being able to go out and take a camera and do fun art that isn't production art for a business is very, very nice. And that's also very helpful trick if you're trying to learn how to position things in space. If you're trying to intuitively learn how to construct a piece that looks good to the eye, photography is a great trick for that.
There you go. I like that.
True.
Rule of threes.
What else shall we discuss? I'm trying. I wish I wrote down some talking points.
Practice is definitely the most important thing. I
Oh
think.
yes, actually, thank you, Nevy. Yeah, like as I mentioned earlier, practice can make perfect. If you spend at least 15 minutes a day drawing, whether it be if it's a piece that takes a long time to finish, or if you're just sketching or doodling, doing it for at least a little bit of time a day, that can help you develop your skills over time, and that's applicable for learning an instrument or learning how to sing or writing or whatever. It helps. That can, practice and consistency, they work in tandem with each other.
Have any of y'all seen that comic piece? And it's some artist saying, "Oh, but I practiced so much and I'm still not happy with my artwork." And they're talking to a more experienced artist, and they just say, "Oh, well, you should do it more." And there's a giant mountain of drawings, like a skyscraper tall behind them. That's accurate. That is completely accurate.
Oh yeah. I can tell you, there are still sometimes I struggle to accept if my art is good or not. But I have this binder this thick from almost all the artwork that I have done ever since I was 10 or 12 years old. And I'm just am I still good enough? But at the same time, I'm better than, you have to think I am better than where I started. Progress is a never-ending story. If anybody wants to pick up from that.
Are we just giving our own
could
tips?
talk
then?
about
Yeah,
how bad
yeah.
my first projects looked like in comparison.
We're just yapping at
Let's
Hey.
Represent.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Wait, how about tips? Well, what are some tips that you guys would give to the audience or just to people in general?
Well, I guess this is a panel about ponies, so I'm assuming most of you are interested in drawing ponies at some point.
I like Love Live.
Yeah, I think learning how to draw actual horses is a step that a lot of people skip, and they just jump straight to drawing ponies, and that kind of leaves them with bad habits in the long run. What we think of as a horse's knee is actually its ankle, for example, and you can see some very weird leg anatomy in artists that don't quite understand that. So I think it's important to understand the skeleton of the horse and then turn it into a pony after that.
That definitely helps, yeah.
This is also a very, very helpful thing for if you're developing your own style. So for me, when I'm drawing furries specifically for pony, I've always drawn ponies, so I just kind of ended up with a style. It's been fun. But for furry, there is a wonderful, wonderful website where you can look at animal skulls and pictures of the animal in the same position that you pose the skull to be. I will find what that is for us now because it's really, really good. I'm pretty sure you can just search up animal skull reference website and it will come up.
I think it's a Google Lens thing, if I remember right.
Yeah. But that way you can reference that as well as maybe styles of artists you like, and as you go, you will start developing these little techniques that develop your style. It's really fun to do it that way.
I like that.
One thing I'd like to also remind people when you do a very complex piece is that what you do as an artist is that you guide the eye. That's also what they do in the art of filmmaking, because if you put all the detail everywhere in the piece, it will be overwhelming, and not just overwhelming for the artist because it's just way too much work on the piece. It's going to be overwhelming for the viewer that's not going to be able to look not know what to look at. The piece itself is if it's a piece of a character in an outfit that drives some kind of storytelling, because sometimes it's not just a character in a cute pose, it's also a character in a cute pose doing something.
Sure. Yes.
And in the doing something part, you can have, like, for example, a very nice arc. For example, think of a piece of Rarity doing some clothing, and you have her holding a needle with, some wire. And you angle the wire to have some kind of nice curve that points in the direction.
It shows the action of it.
That curve, you can actually drive the movement that you have in the head. And you also have the way that you're going to pose your character, because you don't want to just pose a character like you'd pose a puppet. You want to pose it in a way where you have a nice curve, a nice arc that drives the movement. It makes it so much more dynamic. And you might have some reservations when you look at it at first, because you'll think, well, it don't bend my character. Bones don't really bend. But muscle does. And muscle on top of bones do give that feel of bending. Can we get a nice...
1 second.
Oh, yep. We got it.
All right.
We can scooch in for
There you go, Cool Kid Island.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna hang out in the audience. That
Okay.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good to see you. Good
Welcome
to see
in.
you.
One of us. One of us. One of us. One of us. All right, so right now we're kind of getting to some tips on how people can better develop their skills. What do you have anything you would like to add?
First of all, who are you?
Yes, actually, yeah, get into that first.
Hi, I am Inari. I originally thought I wasn't going to be able to make it into this panel, so I'm really happy to.
We're
to
glad you
stop
did.
by.
Glad to make you made it. Yep.
I felt so bad.
No, you're good.
I've been doing art since I was, a child and able to hold crayons, probably like most of us. Started really in the fandom scene back in 2013, took a break, and then came back, and here we are. So,
Woo!
what was the question?
So right now we're kind of in the parts of the presentation where we're talking about tips, tricks, and how people can develop their arts and their style over time.
Practice. Lots and lots of practice.
Yep.
Literally, just hey, that's me. Just keep drawing over and over and over again. At this point, in our lives with the internet, there are millions of tutorials and resources and plenty of things that you can look up, inspiration, everything. So don't be afraid to use inspiration. Don't be afraid to use references. Ask for opinions of your artist friends, and everybody's usually really happy to help.
Oh yeah.
Practice.
I love that you basically just confirmed that we were giving good advice, because you said a lot of things that we were like, yes, you have to do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the main takeaway is practice, practice, practice. This isn't a game, as Alan Iverson said. We talking about practice.
So with the practice thing as well, you hear that a lot. There's so many people, when you're told to do art, they come up and they say, practice, just keep practicing. That's why I mentioned the Eurovision story. I found a way to make it fun to practice. That's the most important thing. If you make practicing fun for you somehow, work out something that you enjoy drawing. Nevy,
Yeah.
you gave us so many good examples
You
of
and your
that. And then it won't feel like work. You won't feel like you have to force yourself to set aside time. You will be able to just go, yeah, I really, really want to draw this right now. I really want to sit down and just give this a go.
Something that actually just jumped into my head was it's not just don't think practice as a general term. Figure out something that you want to practice in just like a certain niche, like maybe position of the hand. Maybe practice backgrounds. Maybe practice how positions of the head. Maybe find aspects that you spend some time each day to work on, and over time you can be okay, let's try to encompass everything all together in one piece, and it will be real. Yes, the One Piece is real.
Spoilers!
I practice something called iterative drawing, where if I'm looking at a reference, and let's say I'm drawing a pose from reference, I do the entire pose, I draw it, and then I step away from it for a while. I come back to it with fresh eyes, and I look at it and okay, what did I do differently from the photo?
There
what
you go,
looks
yeah.
wrong? What could be improved? What did I do well? And then I do it again. And then I usually mark over it in red. I call redlining the drawing. I do it over in the same lines to so I can mark the difference, and then I do the drawing all over again. And I repeat this as many times as it takes to be like, okay, I'm comfortable drawing this specific subject. So like if I wanted to learn, like recently I'm learning how to draw human torsos because I wanted to learn how to draw humans. I basically never draw anything except ponies and furries. So I'm like, I wanna learn how to draw humans. So I sat down, I pulled up a bunch of pictures of torsos, and I just drew nothing but torsos for like a week, and now I'm really good at drawing
There you go.
torsos.
I think here's another point. It's like now this is going to be like something a little random, so bear with me for a second. So as you have seen, I'm a traditional artist. Something I have learned something earlier. Thank you. Something I learned pretty early is when you are drawing, paper indents. So I wish I brought my sketchbooks, that way I can show you something. But if you are going to be a traditional artist, something I learned is that start from the back of the book, because the paper will be on the cardboard, and like it won't indent into the next thing, because that way if you're working on shading,
I've
like
never
you'll
thought
see.
about that.
Yeah, like I did this once. I'm like, why did I not think of this sooner?
You're a genius.
Somebody give me a Nobel Peace Prize.
Another thing, like if you're doing traditional, depending on if you're right or left-handed, you will smudge if you're using a pencil. So
Oh yes.
So start on like the left side if you're right-handed, or vice versa if you're left-handed, and try to sometimes like put something under your hand or wear like a drawing glove.
No, I never thought of that. That's really good too, because I like whenever I'm drawing, like if I'm like working on shading or whatever, and my hand it's just graphite everywhere. Like I always keep a bottle of hand sanitizer handy, so that way I'm just like, just get it off.
So the advice you're giving people is to just not draw traditionally.
Please draw. Like despite the graphites that will be on your hand, please draw. I see a question.
I just wanted to mention mechanical pencils also cause really bad indents. And if
That's what I draw with. That's my main drawing tool.
well, there you go. The narrower the thing, the deeper the indent. It's really hard to get rid of if you're erasing it.
Oh yeah, that you're 100% right. But that's why I kind of like learned how to like, well, if I just take this page and start from the back. I mean, but like I do see your point though, and that is a very, very valid good point.
And there's one other thing. You
Sure.
can use like a piece of scratch paper to rest your palm on so you don't smudge as bad.
That's a good idea. I never even thought of that. Yeah.
You are a genius.
I feel like I do need to. Oh, sorry. I feel like I do need to make a argument for drawing traditional. If you go straight into digital, you have an undo tool, and you will abuse the heck out of the undo tool. Traditional, especially if you can get yourself a pen so you're forced to work with whatever you draw. Worst comes to worst, it doesn't come out good, you move on to the next piece. You just keep going. That'll
get a good
help
eraser.
you learn things so much quicker than having access to that undo tool, because you could agonize over a piece forever with it.
Also, be prepared if you go from digital to traditional after a while, you're going to be going like this on your
I have seen Instagram reels about that.
I have
so funny.
I have tried to use the transform tool on paper before.
I'm gonna pretend I know what that is. Yeah. So when it comes to digital, talk to these guys. I don't know jack squat. Okay. Let's open the floor to some more questions. So I saw a couple hands. Okay. You right over there, the gray shirt or brown shirt.
So I'm living with ADHD, I guess. One of the things that I struggle with is getting myself to actually draw. Do any of you have to deal with this?
music. Put music on.
Yeah.
Think of it like starting a car with a dead battery. You will need to push it. It's going to be tough. You push it, you push it, you push it, and eventually the car starts going on its own.
And then you keep pushing it.
And you
you
keep,
keep
pushing
pushing
it.
it.
It's tough because it's the first moment where you think like, what am I gonna do? Just do like a first circle. All you need to do is just a first circle, and then it just gets the
Just
brain.
expand from that. Yeah.
It gets the brain to give you the happy chemicals.
Yeah.
Motivation is like a muscle. It's going to be hard at first, but once you actually start doing it more reliably, it's a lot easier.
For me, like it's kind of almost been part of routine. Like, I'm not going to get too deep into it, but like ever since November, Like I felt like a lot of stuff has been out of my control. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but like drawing is a factor that's kept me in check. You know, it's something I know I can control. I control what characters to put on paper, how the pencil strokes the paper. Like it's something that's helped me. Now, now that I made it part of my routine, it's like I almost don't need motivation. But that's just me. Everybody's journey and reasons for creating is different. You have to find what helps you. And what these guys have said, that is phenomenal advice. All right. There was, yes, right over there.
I was gonna ask about any tips about rendering / shadowing.
That's all you guys.
Okay. Anything that makes the picture look more pot / 3D out of it. Because both traditionally and digitally, that seems to be my biggest problem. I feel like I'm making my art looks way too flat, and I want to make it more polished.
What color do you shade in?
What color do I shade?
That's what I was gonna say.
Shade.
If you say gray, you have to leave.
Yeah, no shading in grey. No shading in grey. What you want to
like
do is you want to pick the opposite side of the color wheel. If you've got a warm light, use nice darker colors, like nice blues, nice purples go really well. You want to go the opposite. Also, references. Not joking. Look at the way that light bounces off of objects. Light bouncing really helped me make my stuff look so much more 3D. And what that is where, let's say this character is holding this phone, light's gonna bounce off here onto here. What I do is I take a bit of color from whatever object it is and I just kind of smatter it in I think it's a screen layer that I use. But you just lighten the color a little bit and draw it over where even the shadows are, because light will still be there.
There's something called subsurface scattering, which happens in photography a lot too.
Little demonstration. Actually, if you take a flashlight and you point it like right, you can see that my finger is glowing. This happens in everything. And one of the things you can do is you start with an orange or like pinkish color. You set it to add, and then you start painting it on top on the area that's exposed. One thing that's also worth noting whenever you light the characters, how are you going to place the light? So you're going to have the light, for example, if you have the light that's on the side, that's going to be a key light. You're going to have a fill light if you want to just fill the shadow, because the key light is going to give, you're going to have a contrast on the other side that you're going to fill. And then you have the rim light that's in the back. If you want a really nice line on the side of the character.
Rim light everything.
It's really cool if you go with the rim light. I love the rim light because, for example, you have a character who's on stage and there's a backlight behind. If you have the rim light and you just paint it at like pure white or something like that, and you get some kind of blooming effect on top, it's incredible the look it gives.
And take advantage of those layer types too. Like really, like they've been saying, add and screen and overlay. And if you don't know what those are types of layers like in digital drawing. Take advantage of them because it makes your life so much easier. For one, it's okay. It's not cheating, and it makes it pop a lot.
I also do 2 different shading layers personally, and then I shade on the character too. All of my dark areas are so much more detailed than my light. I am light. Who is she? But the 2 types that I do are objects, so things that will cast a direct shadow onto something, so it's a hard line, and then I do soft shading for things like muscles. So that's where I'm going to be using my airbrush tool, or I'm going to be using the soft eraser in order to give that frayed sort of edge to the shading, and it just communicates where the light is so much better that way.
I think shading can also feel a little weird if you're only shading. Remember that you're also, if you want to make it pop, you're going to want to use bright colors as well. You're going to think of it like shading and lighting. You want a layer for both. At least one for both, I should say.
It's also worth noting that the softness of the light depends on the shape and the size of the light source. So for example, whenever you look at old flash photos and you look at everybody will look just very sick. The problem is that the flash is super small, which means that since it's very small, the shadows are going to be very, very sharp. And in terms of sharpness, what you do, like the sunlight, for example, what you're going to get, you're going to have very, very sharp shadows. buildings are not going to have sharp shadows because the distance between the shadow and the object that casts the shadow is going to affect the softness. If you have a very, very big light, it's going to make it soften even faster. And that's why, for example, whenever you see a movie that has characters that need to look very pretty, they're going to have very, very big light sources. Whenever they have a sunlight, the shadow is going to be so harsh that it won't look right for that. And of course, you can cheat it. You can actually soften as much as you want. You can just start drawing the shadow like the terminal, the shadow terminal, and then just soften it with a brush to make it look.
Or use the blur thing, the blur feature. Just
and
draw
gradients.
straight edges and then blur it.
Blur is the best.
Another thing you can do with light and shadow is use it to convey depth a lot, and that really helps with the 3D effect. Like things that are usually things that are closer to the camera or the viewer will be lighter and brighter, and things that are farther away will usually be darker and more less detailed.
I just want to point out we only have like less than 5 minutes.
Okay, that's
Very,
fair.
very quick one on that as well.
Okay.
Further things away, decrease the saturation. Even if the color in the show reference is this, change it. Decrease that a tiny bit. It will help your front things pop.
It's also worth noting you can cheat and just get Blender, and with Eevee you can just put point lights and just have a good idea of where the shadows would be with those shapes. It's very effective. It's very cheap. Well, Blender is free, so and you see the result right away. You can change the colors of those lights because a light source is not pure white. Those light sources above the color temperature, I'm pretty sure, is 6,500 Kelvin. You're gonna have the very warm orangish colors, and I'd say warm color temperature. When you think of warm, you're gonna think of orange, and when you think of cold, you're gonna think of blue. The color temperature of your light source is gonna change completely the mood. So if you want to have a very, very warm mood, and you have a fireplace, you want very warm lights, just tint the light that comes from it a bit with the orange. If you want something that looks clinical, cold blue looks incredible.
AV, do you have time for at least one more question? Okay, let's see here. I saw over here.
Yeah, so I was looking at the start, so I'm not sure who each of you are, and how can you check your mark? So please give your name.
I'm Shiiiny with 3 eyes on Twitter and Tumblr. I'm that Shiiiny. I'm that Shiiiny on most platforms because Shiiiny tends to be taken, unfortunately.
I'm Nicky D, but on most social media platforms, I'm Nicky D's 96, NICKYDS96.
I'm Nevaylin. Just look at this if you need to spell it. It's a weird name.
I can put my.
Yeah, we
put this
can
out
probably
here.
just go up to you and just tell you how to spell it in.
I'm MintyRoot. Just tap your phone on my badge and you'll see my links.
Go to the animator,
that's
by
a
the
good
way.
idea.
Amazing
I don't see
animator.
it.
I
Over
think
here.
mine is RFID enabled, and I just haven't done it yet.
I actually have a website, shiiny.horse. .horse domains are really cheap, it turns out.
Oh,
Yeah.
The more you know.
good to know.
Yeah.
I'm Gobiraptor, G-O-B-I Raptor, and I chose that name specifically because it was available everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm Inari, but it's with a 4, so IN4RI. Usually my screen names, like on social media, have an underscore.
AV, how are we doing on time? Just one more question, maybe? One more. Okay, your hand's up. Okay, ask away.
I have a little experience with traditional art because I took a traditional art class just now.
Oh, okay.
But I have zero experience, zero knowledge of digital art. Do you have any recommendations for how to get into it?
You don't need to spend money, aside from like a thing to interface with your computer for drawing. Like if you don't have a tablet, you probably need to spend money on that. You do not need to spend money on an art program. I think a lot of people get caught up on like, oh, I need to buy Psy or I need to buy CSP, but you can do a lot with Krita or Fire Alpaca, which are both free.
Procreate is a very like starter friendly for digital art too, because it's pretty simple, but you have a lot of workability with it still. And I think Procreate's only what, like $5 now?
A surprisingly decent free one is called Medibang.
I heard about that one
MEDI
already, yeah.
bang. That's what I used to draw on, and honey, I used to draw using a trackpad and my fingers. It was awful.
Oh my God.
But you can do
Start
it. It's
somewhere.
like one of the art
It's
pieces
possible.
that came up
Anything
here
is
was
possible.
trackpad drawn. It's awful. Don't do that. You will hate yourself.
Just start playing the program, learn the tools, look up
Mm-hmm.
tutorials for the tools, and see what you like.
Yeah.
Well,
Medibang. MEDI bang. And that one's completely free.
all right. Well, guys, I think that's should just about be it. Everybody, thank you so much for coming out to this panel.
Yeah,
Enjoy the
thank
rest
you
of
so
your Everfree.
much.
Stay safe, everybody. Love you all.
You.
Very glad to be here.
Thank you guys so much for being here. Really.
Hey,
Yeah, this is
Shiiiny.
really cool. I actually have a bracelet.